Health Effects of Global Warming by Deb Machen. This presentation has three main topics: signs and symptoms of global warming impacts on humans, potential mitigations and adaptations. According to the World Health Organization, polluted air consisting of chemicals and particles penetrates deep into lungs and cardiovascular systems and damages materials. These particles can be gases, solid particles, or liquid droplets. Some air pollution is from natural sources, such as wildfire smoke and volcanic ash. Most air pollution, however, is man-made or anthropogenic, such as heating fuels and factory and vehicle emissions. Aerosol cans and secondhand cigarette smoke also contribute to dirty air. And this has been a problem for some time. As a child in the 1960s, I lived in a suburb of Los Angeles. Physical activity, such as running, left me with aching lungs. I felt as if my lungs were filled with dirty air. According to the National Weather Service, drought is a deficiency in precipitation lasting weeks, months, or years. While droughts are normal climate variables in many places, heat and/or wind can intensify the situation and lead to adverse agricultural conditions and fires. Floods are defined as overflow of water onto land that is typically dry. Floods can be caused by rainfall, quickly melting snow, tsunamis, or ruptured dams or levees. Floods are among the most common and expensive disasters worldwide. Heat waves are defined as high temperatures combined with high humidity over an extended period of time. Heat waves can cause droughts and wildfires and can occur anywhere that high-pressure air forms a dome, pressing down hot air, not just where it's typically hot. According to Direct Energy, heat waves are one of the most dangerous natural disasters, averaging more deaths than any other. According to NASA, hurricanes are large, swirling storms producing winds of 74 to 157 miles per hour. Hurricanes and storm dangers include damage to buildings, projectile debris, flooding, and uninhabitable locations. According to Global Citizen, there are 6 major consequences of rising sea levels. 1. Submerged megacities would increase the number of refugees worldwide. By the year 2100, there could be 2 billion climate change refugees. 2. Hurricanes would become more powerful. 3. Economies would be destroyed as the economic impact could run into the trillions due to infrastructure damage, healthcare costs, relief effort costs, and loss of coastal economic activity. 4. Food and water crises. Water sources could become contaminated by salt water and other contaminants from destroyed infrastructure. Coastal agricultural activities could be destroyed. 5. A health crisis due to contaminated water and sanitation, insect-borne illnesses, contaminants from destroyed infrastructure, and impacted healthcare systems. And 6. Conflicts are estimated to increase by 10 to 20% for every half-degree increase in global temperature due to stresses on societies. Are you freaked out yet? Pay attention. You might be. Impacts on humans. Property damage has an economic and health impact. Global warming can increase injuries and death from flying debris, fallen structures, drowning, and fire. Illness and death, isn't that what we all fear? Pathogens include food and water contamination and insect-borne illnesses that could significantly increase with global warming. For the past couple of years, we've been experiencing the worldwide issues caused by a virus. Insects, bacteria, and viruses may be the sole survivors. And mold? Mold causes all kinds of horrible health problems. I don't know what that ugly fellow on the right is, but yikes, we really don't need any more of those. Air pollution, breathing in chemicals and particles, can have a huge impact on lung diseases. According to the American Cancer Society, most cancers are a result of exposure to UV rays in sunlight. According to the World Health Organization, cardiovascular diseases, or CVDs, are the leading cause of death globally. The National Library of Medicine analyses of daily death rates show a correlation between CVD mortality and extreme temperatures. The stress of increased exposure to heat and airborne particulates and changes to zoonotic vectors, animals and insects that transmit diseases, causing infections associated with CVD may exacerbate existing cardiovascular disease. Global warming and efforts to mitigate and adapt to it may increase neurological issues. Potential neurological threats include biotoxins from harmful algae blooms such as red tides, blue-green algae, and cyanobacteria, metals in new battery technologies and compact fluorescent lights, and pesticides used in response to agricultural changes. Drought, floods, and impacts to agriculture may increase famine and food contamination. Not to be overlooked, mental health can be compromised by the impacts of global warming. Contributors to declining mental health could include property damage, disease, loss of loved ones, hunger, fear, and geographic displacement, or stress. Are we looking at the end of the world? There is a fine line between an effective sense of urgency and panic. People tend to shut down when alerts are extreme and ongoing. According to a CBS News article in 2020, climate scientists are not the ones making alarming assertions about climate change, like, quote, the impacts will be catastrophic by 2030, end quote, or, quote, We only have a decade left to save the planet. End quote. These hair on fire claims are coming from politicians and media headlines using hand-picked pieces of scientific data. Don't be that guy. Be effective. Of course, all of these things are happening today. Experts are predicting that global warming will increase their frequency and intensity. I believe there's a better way. Rational actions might include identify vulnerable populations, prioritize, adapt, mitigate, and educate. Mitigations and adaptations. Adaptation doesn't mean growing fins, gills, or octopus arms. Adaptation is risk management of both short-term and long-term risks. There are many things currently being done and yet to be done to manage the risks of global warming. Some potential mitigation strategies. In order to slow down, stop, or reverse global warming, macro and micro mitigation strategies can be considered. I believe reforestation is an important risk mitigation strategy. I found an interesting article at getpocket.com entitled How a Humble Mushroom Could Save Forests and Fight Climate Change. You can find the link to the article on this slide and on the sources slide. Carbon capture and storage looks like a promising macro approach. We can be hopeful about geoengineering, but because these solutions could introduce so much variability to a complex Earth system, the brainiacs must be very, very careful that their fixes don't introduce more problems. Just a few things that individuals can do to protect themselves and contribute to global warming mitigation. Walk or bicycle rather than drive when possible. Reduce use of plastic. Plant and protect vegetation. Those are only a few things that can contribute to global warming mitigation. Protect yourself. Plan for floods. Plan for heat waves. Plan for food and water shortages. And fire damage mitigation. This website has an extensive list of solutions that can be sorted by sector or by emissions impact. The list is too long for this presentation, but I encourage you to check it out. Bottom line, I have faith that mankind will find ways to adapt and mitigate the harmful effects of global warming. I know that throughout history, brilliant minds have made remarkable contributions to life on Earth. And I know that we have brilliant minds walking among us today who will make a positive difference. The end. Or is it?